Hello students, now we continue with plane mirrors and we go to the B part where we see how many images will be formed when two plane mirrors are kept inclined to each other at a particular angle theta. So here you have Mn and Nn dash are two different plane mirrors and they are kept like this at an angle. So they are kept at an angle theta with respect to each other. That's the inclination between them. Then the object and the images formed by the two inclined mirrors lie on the circumference of a circle whose center lies at the point of intersection of the two mirrors, and the radius is equal to the distance of the object from the point of intersection. What does this mean? This means that, let's say, you have an object placed here. So if O is the object, then in that case, this distance from the point of intersection of the two plane mirrors, that is point N to N, will be the radius, and N will be the center, and on the circumference of a circle that is drawn such that N is the center, that's the point of intersection of the two mirrors is the center, and the distance of that center from the object is the radius. On the circumference of that circle only, you will get all the images are formed. So the object and the images formed by two inclined mirrors lie on the circumference of the circle. That means it lies on this circumference with the point of intersection as the center of that circle, and the distance from the point of intersection of the two mirrors to the object being the radius of that circle. So that is one thing you have to note, that the object and the image will lie on this circumference of the circle with N as center and OL as the radius. Now object placed symmetrically between the two mirrors mean, now here we consider the object is here, it means it is asymmetrically placed. Symmetrically means the object lies on the angle bisector, that is the line dividing this angle MN dash into exactly two equal parts. So if it lies on the angle bisector, it means that the object is symmetrically placed between the two inclined mirrors. And if it does not lie on the angle bisector, like the example I have shown here, it is not lying on the angle bisector, then it means that the object is asymmetrically placed between the two plane mirrors. So you have either symmetrical or asymmetrical. Now depending on whether the object is placed asymmetrically or symmetrically, there is a rule to find how many images are formed. It is not one image that is formed when two plane mirrors are kept inclined to each other at an angle theta. But the number of images formed, first of all, depends on theta, and secondly depends on whether the object is placed symmetrically, that means is it on the angle bisector of that angle theta, or is it placed asymmetrically. So depending on that, you will have symmetrical or asymmetrical, and angle theta determines the number of images formed. So here it's written object placed symmetrically means that the object is on the angle bisector between the mirrors, and asymmetrically means that the object is anywhere between the plane mirrors except on the angle bisector. Now rule for finding the number of images formed when theta is the angle between the mirrors. So first you will have to see what is 360 upon n. Now this 360 upon n, 360 upon theta, 360 upon theta will give you the number of images formed. So if you get 360 upon theta is an odd number, for example, let's say theta is 72 degree, then 360 upon 72 is 5. So if it is coming an odd number, then in that case, first you will have to see whether the object is asymmetrically placed or is it on the angle bisector, that is symmetrically placed. If it is odd and if it is asymmetrical, then the number of images will remain 360 upon n upon theta, that is 360 upon 72 or 5 images. Now there is no reduction in the number of images. But if the object is symmetrically placed, and if you are getting n is 5, that means odd number, then one image will overlap with another image. So instead of 5 images, you will be able to see only 4 images. So that is why when it is symmetrically placed, n minus 1 images are formed. This 360 upon theta is actually n, and if n is odd and n is even, based on that you have asymmetrical, symmetrical. If n is coming odd, like for example when you took theta is 72, you are getting n is 5. So here n is equal to 5. So then you have to check if it is asymmetrical, then n images itself, that is 5 images. But if the object is on the angle bisector, that is it is symmetrically placed, then n minus 1 or 5 minus 1, that is 4 images will be formed. Now second case is if n is even number. For example, if theta is 60 degree, then you will get n is equal to 6. So you are getting 6 images. So in this case, whether it is symmetrically or asymmetrically placed, in both the cases you will get n minus 1 images. So you will get 6 minus 1, that is 5 images in both the cases. So first thing is to see whether n is an odd number or it's an even number. In odd number there are two cases. That is, if it is asymmetrical, it will remain n, and if it is symmetrically placed, the object is symmetrically placed, then the number of images will be 1 less. So 5 minus 1, 4 images would be formed. If it is even, then there is no problem. Then in that case, in both symmetrical as well as asymmetrical placement of object, the number of images formed will be n minus 1, that is 6 minus 1 or 5 images. Now note one thing. Let's say you are getting answer in decimals. That means theta is 50 degree. So if you do 360 upon 50, you get the answer as 7.2. It is not an integer. So if you get 7.2, which is not an integer, then that 0.2 will not be considered. Even if it was 7.9, you will not round it off to 8. It will be 7 only. So you will take the integer number only. So once you consider the integer number, that is 7 images. So is that odd or even? Yes, 7 is odd. So in this case, if it is asymmetrically placed, the number of images will remain 7. And if it is symmetrically placed, then in that case the number of images will be 7 minus 1, that is 6. Now please note here that here I have mentioned 7.2, but 7.2 means that 0.2 number of images cannot be formed. It is like telling that you can have 1.5 people or 1.2 people. So it is 7.2 means 7. Even if it was, now you may have a think that 7.5 means 8. No, 7.5 also means 7 only. You will only take the integer number. Even if it was 7.9, you will not consider 8. You will take the integer only. So that means 7. 7, and then you have to see asymmetrically placed, so 7 itself, and symmetrically placed, then 7 minus 1, that is 6 images. This is one 2-mark question that comes from this. Sometimes you are given if theta is 60 or theta is 90, how many images are formed? If theta is 60, then in that case, whether it is asymmetrical or symmetrical, theta is 60, so 360 upon 60 is 6, which is even. So you will get 5 images, n minus 1 images. If theta is 90, so then 360 upon 90 is 4. So 4 is again even. So in that case, whether it is symmetrically or asymmetrically placed, still you will get 3 images. So substitute the value of theta, find n, see whether n is odd or even. If it is odd, see whether it is asymmetrical or symmetrical. If it is asymmetrical, then n images. If it is symmetrical, then n minus 1 images. What do you mean by symmetrical? Symmetrical means object is on the angle bisector. If it is even number of images, like say theta is 60, then you get n minus 1 images for both asymmetrical and symmetrical formation. The number of images cannot be in decimals. So if you get in decimals, then you will not consider the decimal value. You will only take the integer value. If it was even 7.9, you will not round it off to 8, because 7.9, the integer in front of 0.9 is 7, so you will take 7 only. I hope this is very clear. Now we will go on to see how many images are formed when two mirrors are placed perpendicular to each other at 90 degree. That diagram is also important. This diagram is important. It is incomplete. I will complete it while explaining. Images formed by two mirrors placed perpendicular to each other. Theta is 90 degree. That means these two mirrors OA and OB intersect at the point O, and angle AOB is 90 degree. So then how many images are formed? You know 360 upon 90 is 4. But that's even number, and in even number, whether it's symmetrical or asymmetrical, n minus 1, so 3 images are formed. Actually 4 images are formed, but 2 of the images overlap. So you have first the object placed at P between the two plane mirrors. Now you will know that P2 is the image. You have done this in plane mirror. If only OB was there, if only the mirror OB was there, then P2 would have been the image of the object P under reflection in the mirror OB. Similarly, if only the mirror OA was there, then P1 would have been the image of P under reflection in the mirror OA. So now we can't draw so many lines and make the rays confusing in the ray diagram. So we draw limited number of rays. From P, we are only drawing 2 rays. It is falling on OB. So now those rays will get reflected obviously, and after reflection they appear to come from P2. Why? P2 is the image of P under reflection in OB. So this you had already done. Object distance is equal to image distance. On the same measurements, you will be taking exactly same measurements, and on this horizontal line, whatever is the distance from P to the mirror, the same will be the distance from P2 to the mirror. And when you draw these diagrams, you have to use a ruler and pencil, and the measurement should be accurately taken, like this distance should be same. Similarly, this distance from P to the mirror OA, and from P1 to the mirror OA, the distance this and this should be exactly same. So once you get this, then you have to complete the rectangle. So here P3 and P4, actually P4 and P3 is formed at the same point, so it's overlapping. That is why 3 images are formed. Now how to show the rays? The ray are going on the incident rays from P. We are showing 2 rays only going on incident on the mirror OB. So after reflection, it appears to come from the point P2. So from there, that is one ray appearing to come from P2. The second ray also same way, appearing to come from P2. So we draw dotted line behind the mirror because they are virtual images. Plane mirror gives virtual and erect images. So that line is extended. So the 2 rays now will fall on OA. So since these 2 rays are now falling on OA, the rays will not stop here. They will get reflected. Why? Because they will, obviously a mirror will reflect the rays. These rays cannot penetrate the mirror and go on the other side, they will get reflected. And that means P2 is acting as a virtual object for the mirror OA. Because of these reflected rays, P2, that's the image of P under reflection in the mirror OB, P2 is acting as a virtual object for this mirror. And its image will be formed at P3. That is, when this is extended, this distance and this distance is equal. The distance of P2 from this line extended and the distance below, that is from the line to P3, those distances will be the same. So now when you draw the reflected rays, those reflected rays should appear to come from P3. So those reflected rays should appear to come from P3 and they get reflected along a straight line. This way it goes to the viewer. So same way from here also, this reflected ray should also appear to come from P3. So that way you have to draw the reflected rays, and this is the completed image. Whatever you have shown behind the mirror, it is dotted. So the rays are actually going and hitting the mirror OB from the object P, and after reflection they get reflected in that direction, but they appear to come from P2. Now P2 is acting as a virtual object for the mirror OA, and its image will be formed at P3. So this way you will have 4 images formed, because there is going to be rays which is actually drawn this way also onto this mirror, and that will also get reflected towards this mirror and form another image P4 on the same point where P3 is there. So that will be when object is P and the image is formed by OA. You will get the image at P1, but we are not drawing all that, because in that case there will be so many rays inside that it will look very congested and it will not be able to be explained. So this is exactly what is shown in the textbook also, and this much is what you are expected to draw. So 2 rays from P appearing to come from P2, those rays getting reflected, and the reflected rays again acting as a virtual object and image formed at P3. So that is what you have to draw. Images formed when 2 plane mirrors are placed at 90 degrees to each other. How many images are formed? 3 images will be formed. 2 images are overlapping, that is why 3 images are formed. So now I have written what I had explained. P2 is image of object P under reflection in the mirror OB. So P2 is image of object P under reflection in the mirror OB. Object distance is equal to image distance. P2 will act as virtual object for the mirror OA and P3 will be its image. So these rays are reflected and reaching the mirror OA. So now P2 is acting as virtual object for the mirror OA and P3 is its image. Those rays appear to go from there. Again, I told you this object distance is equal to this image distance. For plane mirrors anywhere, that same thing holds. Object distance is equal to image distance. Now what is not shown in the diagram in rays, because the ray it will get congested. Similarly, P1 will be image of P. P1 will be image of object P under reflection in the mirror OA. And last, now P1 will act as virtual object for the mirror OB. And P4 will be its image. Just like P2 acted as a virtual object for the mirror OA, P1 will act as virtual object for the mirror OB and P4 will be its image. Since P3 and P4 overlap, they are at the same place, they overlap each other, only 3 images will be visible. And in all cases, the object distance and image distances will remain the same. Next we see when 2 plane mirrors are kept parallel to each other, like you see in many barber shops. 2 plane mirrors are kept parallel to each other. That gives you a long, the room appears to be bigger. Even in a gym and all also, on both sides they place generally mirrors. So those plane mirrors, so that room appears to be much bigger than it actually is. So to give it a big room. But we have to see the ray diagram and the image diagram when 2 plane mirrors are kept parallel to each other. See now when 2 plane mirrors here you have AM one mirror and B M1 second mirror. They are kept parallel to each other with the reflecting surface facing each other. So there is an object M placed between the two mirrors. This ray diagram is also important. It can be asked in the exams. Draw this ray diagram when the object is placed between two parallel mirrors. And how many images are formed? First let's see. Theta is 0 because they are not intersecting. There is no angle between the two mirrors. They are parallel, so theta is 0. So n is 360 upon 0, so it will be infinite, not defined. So large number or infinite number of images are formed. So for two mirrors kept parallel to each other, infinite images will be formed. But the brightness of remote means far off images, keep on decreasing because at each reflection some light energy is absorbed and hence only few images will be seen. So if you are asked how many images are formed when two plane mirrors are kept parallel to each other, you will write this. An infinite number of images are formed, but images which are formed far off or remote. After multiple reflections, the intensity of the image or the brightness of the image goes on decreasing because some amount of light energy is absorbed by the mirror whenever there is a reflection, due to which far off images are not seen or only few images are seen. So when two plane mirrors are kept parallel to each other in a barber shop, you can see only finite number of images, not infinite number of images. But you will see large number of images. So this is the explanation for that. Now let's understand the diagram. First of all, P is the object placed between the two plane mirrors AM and B M1. So first let's assume P is object and the reflecting mirror is AM, first image. So you have object distance is RP, P to R, that is the object distance. On the other side of that mirror, I1R will be same distance. So I1 will be the image of the object P under reflection in the mirror AM. So you have here the object distance P to R is equal to image distance I1R. So from P we have drawn two rays. See, the inclination should not be very big, then you will not be able to show at least three images. So when you are asked to draw that, besides the object and two mirrors, you have to show at least three images. So these inclinations should be small. I1 is the image of object P under reflection in the mirror AM. So you have used PR is equal to I1R and drawn it. So you have shown two rays from object P to mirror AM, which is reflecting those rays, and they appear to come from I1. So now I1 is acting as a virtual object for the other mirror, BM1. So the object distance is now I1 to S. When you are considering mirror BM1 with I1 as virtual object, I1 to S is the object distance. So at an other side of the mirror at an equal distance, I to S will be equal to I1S. You will get the image I2. So I2 is image of object, virtual object I1 under reflection in the mirror BM1. So you are showing the rays reflecting and appearing to come from I2. Now after that, that is what is written here. I1S object distance is equal to I2S image distance. And I1 is the virtual object for mirror BM1 and I2 is its image. Now next case is I2 will now behave as a virtual object for the mirror AM, which has the reflecting surface facing I2. So I2R will be the object distance and at an equal distance on the other side of the mirror AM, which is now the reflecting mirror, you will get the image I3. So I3 is image of virtual object I2 under reflection in the mirror AM. So I2R is object distance and I3R is image distance. those distances would be the same. So that is what is written in this fourth point. Now I2 behaves as virtual object for the mirror AM and I3 will be its image. So object distance I2 to R will be equal to image distance I3 to R. So after that, like this the process continues. Now I3 will behave as virtual object for the mirror BM1 which has the reflecting surface facing I3. So I3 is virtual object for the mirror BM1 and its image will be formed such that I3S is equal to I4S. But that all we need not know and write. Basically what we are trying to say is that this process continues and hence infinite number of images will be formed. But as already told, since at each reflection some amount of incident light is absorbed by the mirror, so that is why the images formed after few reflections, that is remote images, will not be seen. So you need not mug up all this. They generally don't ask you explanation of all this. They ask you to draw the diagram. So the diagram is very important. All this explanation is important for your understanding. So that when you draw the image and object, it has to be measured and drawn. That is R to P. That distance and R to I1 distance should be same. Same way, I1 to S, that distance and I2 to S, that distance should be the same. Then you have I3 to S, then you have I2 to R and I3 to R, that distance should be same. So those distances must be actually measured with pencil and ruler when you are plotting the points I1, then I2 and I3. So you have to use this in the diagram and understanding is important. That all won't be asked in explanation. You will be only asked the figure, you will be asked how many images are formed and how many images will be visible. And why aren't infinite images formed? Because at each reflection some amount of energy of the incident light is absorbed by the mirror. So we have finished parallel rays and perpendicular when two mirrors are kept parallel to each other and when two mirrors are kept perpendicular to each other. So now for uses of plane mirror, we have just learned some few uses. Like you all know a plane mirror is used as a looking glass. Every house has it where you use the mirror as a looking glass. And the other uses other than a looking glass, in a periscope, this is how a periscope looks. These are the outer walls of the periscope and here the object is there. There are two mirrors. These two mirrors are parallel to each other. They are making angle of 45 degree with the two vertical surfaces and horizontal surface. Here also this angle is 45 and here also this angle is 45. So when the ray of light falls on this mirror, it gets reflected and it reaches the mirror at the bottom, and from here it reaches the person who is viewing from here. So it can be used to see above the head of crowds. For example, if you have such a periscope, then you can see what is happening on top. If you are in a crowded place, you keep your eye at this end and the periscope may be long enough, it may be tall enough, so you can see what is happening in front of crowds. Even in trenches, when soldiers are in trenches, rather than putting their head up and seeing, they use the periscopes to see what is happening on the ground. So the periscope, two parallel plane mirrors, each inclined at 45 degrees with the vertical walls, are placed facing each other. So these are the two plane mirrors which are inclined at 45 degrees with the two vertical walls placed facing each other, and this is used to see over the head of crowds or by soldiers in trenches to see enemy movement on top at the land. Then you use these plane mirrors as in solar heating devices like solar cooker, solar water heater, etc. A plane mirror is used to reflect incident sun's rays onto the food which is to be heated. Water or food, whatever has to be heated. So on that, the plane mirror will reflect the sun's rays. Then there is another instrument, as kids we have made these devices sometimes, a kaleidoscope. Periscope is different, it is used to see over the head of crowds, and there are two plane mirrors kept inclined at 45 degree with the vertical walls. Now kaleidoscope has got three mirrors kept inclined at 60 degree with each other. So it forms an equilateral triangle. And if small colored bangle pieces are kept between the mirrors, of course there will be a wall that is covering that, and if you have small colored bangle pieces kept between the mirrors, beautiful hexagonal patterns will be seen, and when you rotate the tube which contains the three plane mirrors kept at 60 degree with each other, when you rotate the cube, what will happen? The bangles will shake. Their position will change. So the design of the pattern also keeps changing. So it looks very beautiful in a kaleidoscope when those broken bangles are kept between the three mirrors which are inclined at 60 degree to each other. Now in a barber shop you have mirrors facing each other. Two big mirrors are kept facing each other, one in front and one behind, for seeing the hair at the back of the head. Now in this chapter there are very few numericals. Of course I am not talking about the numericals of curved mirror. I am talking about the basic numericals of plane mirror, where we use mostly object distance as image distance. So we will just see some of the numericals that is given in our book. So let's do that. So now here I am doing it from Concise textbook. In my textbook, which was of last year, it was 148 page number. So it is possible that it is the same page or maybe one or two pages here and there. At the end of section A, that is just before images formed by plane mirror, that is section B, there are 5 numericals. So that numericals are basic numericals based on plane mirror, which is there in the syllabus. So now in that, you are given the first question in Concise textbook. A ray is incident on a plane mirror. Its reflected ray is perpendicular to the incident ray. So ray is incident, PQ is the incident ray. It is falling on a plane mirror. So when you draw the plane mirror, you have to draw the blackened surface, and the reflected ray is perpendicular to the incident ray. That means the angle between incident ray and reflected ray is 90 degree. So you are asked to find the angle of incidence. So what you do is you have to draw the normal to the mirror at the point of incidence Q. Normal means that line PQ is perpendicular to the mirror. If you call the mirror AB, that means PQ is perpendicular to AB at the point, meaning of normal. Then these two angles, the incident angle of incidence is what? The angle between incident ray and the normal. It is not this angle, angle between incident ray and mirror. It is angle between incident ray and normal. That angle and the angle of reflection, that's the angle between reflected ray and normal, should be equal. So we get I plus I, 2I is equal to 90, because by law of reflection you know angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. So angle of incidence is 90 by 2, that is 45 degree. So from this you get angle of incidence is 45 degree. Then the second question says, in the second numerical, a man standing in front of a plane mirror finds his image at a distance of 6 meters from himself. What is the distance of the man from the mirror? So the image is at a distance of 6 meters from the mirror. So you have to use the logic of plane mirror, that is object distance is equal to image distance. So both of that will be 6 upon 2, that is 3 meters. So the distance of the object from the mirror is 3 meters. So what is the distance of the man from the mirror is asked, that is 3 meters. Then the third question, an insect is sitting in front of a plane mirror at a distance of 1 meter from it. Where is the image of the object formed, of the insect formed? So if the insect is at a distance of 1 meter from the mirror, the image will be formed behind the meter at 1 meter distance. So the insect is 1 meter from the plane mirror. Therefore, image of an insect will be formed 1 meter behind the mirror. That's where because you are using the formula object distance is image distance. What is the distance between insect and its image? Same way, 1 meter from 1 meter, both. So the distance between insect and its own image will be 1 plus 1, that is 2 meter. Next question, please understand this. Fourth question. An object is kept 60 centimeter in front of a plane mirror. So the object O is kept at a distance of 60 centimeter from the plane mirror AB. So OM is equal to object distance, that is 60 centimeter. So obviously image I will be 60 centimeter behind the mirror. So object distance OM and image distance IM is both 60 centimeter. That's the first equation. Then you are told that the mirror is now moved 25 centimeter away from the object. So that red line indicates the shifted position of the mirror. AB is the original position. 25 centimeter, that mirror got shifted behind, away from the object. So now the new object distance is OR. OR is the new object distance, and that would be OM plus MR. MR is 25 centimeter. So 60 plus 25, 85 centimeter will be the new object distance. So obviously the image distance will also get shifted, because this distance OR is 85 centimeter. So R to I1, that is the image distance, would also be 85 centimeter. So the image is now at a distance of 85 centimeter. So you have I1 to R and O to R are both equal, that is 85 centimeter. So now finally they have asked you to find how does the image shift from its previous position. So you are asked to find what is the distance. First position of image was I and second position is I1. So you are asked to find the distance between I and I1. So that is asked. So now here you know that if you are finding IR, this distance, so IR is equal to IM, that was 60 centimeter, IM was 60 centimeter, you had written equation 1, minus this MR, how much the mirror has moved, that is 25 centimeter. So 60 minus 25, IR is equal to 35 centimeter. So if IR is 35 centimeter and I1R is full 85 centimeter, then I1 to I, this distance would be I1R minus IR. So I1R minus IR will be the distance between the original and new position of image. So I1R is 85 centimeter, which you have written, minus IR is what you had found, 35 centimeter this distance. So 85 minus 35, 50 centimeter would be the distance between I and I1. So the image has shifted 50 centimeter away. So that is what you are expected to write. There is one more sum, and with that plane mirrors will get over. The last sum. In the last question, it is given: an optician, while testing the eyes of a patient, keeps a chart of letters 3 meter behind the patient. So the patient is looking that side, the chart is 3 meters behind him, and ask him to see the letters on the image of the chart. So this is the chart which is placed 3 meters behind the patient, and he is asking, the doctor is asking him to see the image of the chart formed in a plane mirror. So this is a plane mirror which is kept 2 meters in front of the patient. So the patient is looking that side, there is a mirror, behind him there is this chart which is 3 meters behind. So the distance of the chart from the mirror is 5 meter. So the image of the chart will be at an equal distance on the other side, so that is further 5 meter. So what is asked is distance of patient from the image, that will be this 2 plus 5, that is total 7 meter. And what distance is the chart seen by the patient? So the chart will be seen at a distance of 7 meter by the patient. With this we have finished entire part A and part B, that is plane mirrors and its numericals are done. We are left with only spherical mirrors, which we will see in the next video. Bye students, take care.